John Lennon was brutally murdered in New York City by Mark Chapman back in December 8, 1980, at the age of 40. The crime shocked the world and still is one of the saddest moments from music history. In an interview with The Guardian back in 2000 to talk about the 20th anniversary of that tragic moment, Richards recalled how he reacted when he first heard the news in 1980. "I was downtown on Fifth Avenue in New York. The first bit of news I got, I thought, he'll make it, it's just a flesh wound. And then, later on, the news really came. He wasn't just a mate of mine, he was a mate of everybody's, really. He was a funny guy. And you realize that you're stunned. You really don't believe it. And you think, God, why can't I do anything about it?" I got well drunk on it, and I had another one for John. Then there was the confusion, the phone calls, trying to find out if Yoko was okay. Keith Richards continued, "There were the Beatles and there was John. As a band, they were a great unit. But John, he was his own man. We got along very well. We didn't see each other very often, but he would sort of turn up at your hotel. Usually, if I was in the city, I'd stay at the plaza. If John turned up, that meant he wanted to party. He didn't come there to discuss, philosophy, although it would end up like that. I would just get into town, and there'd be a knock at the door. 'Hey, Mon, what is going on around here?' We would get the guitars down and sing, and in our spare time, discuss world domination. He's rubbed off on me as much as anybody. A bit of me rubbed off on John, too, He took it with him. My father just passed away, and he winked at me just before he died. I really feel a lot better about death now. I'm getting off on that wink. I'd give the wink to John," Keith Richards said. A few years before, in 1984, he had already said in an interview how good friends they used to be, especially around 1967, 1968, when they would drive around England for days on end. Richards also said that knowing how good Lennon was, he could imagine that he probably cracked a joke to himself as it happened. John was that human, There is a million other people that it could have happened to. Come on, look what that guy gave and look what he got in return, Keith Richards said.